Alright guys, here's the story and the journey I've had of the past 2.5 years of ownership with my Factory 5 Shelby Daytona. First, I was looking for one, saw this one, immediately booked a flight to Florida to pick it up. I went and checked it out, and there was a couple issues. The heater wasn't working, number one, which was the biggest thing with me. So we decided, okay, I'll fly back to St. Louis, give them 2 weeks to get it fixed, and then we'll meet up in Nashville. And he said that was fine, so my friend Dale picked me up, flew back to St. Louis, and went back on the road trucking for 2 weeks, took my trailer, met him up in Nashville, a man of his word, got it fixed, got the heater working. It was just a thermostat issue, and picked it up. Luckily, it fit in the dang trailer. That was a really big thing with me, and I was really nervous. I measured it 3 times and everything, had it almost a foot extra, but boy, it was pretty close. When I spent the night in the trailer, it was funny, they had a tornado that night, and I was just, parked in front of I got a little living area in my trailer, parked in front of the hotel, but didn't get sucked up by the tornado. Got it licensed, no problems. Everything was fine. And immediately I readjusted the brake lines. The brake lines were rubbing on the tires, so I had to bleed the brakes and all that and see how just barely have any clearance. They were sticking right out, but I put that 90 degree. And immediately just started enjoying it, taking it to different car shows and everything. And even went to Dynamics grand opening car show. Boy, that place was crazy. Look, check out this picture, Ford versus Ferrari right here. But had a blast, had a ton of fun, and then hills like that, and it was a good time. Just kept taking it to different car shows and everything, enjoying it. Boy, and it was always a crowd favorite. There it is, a downtown St. Louis car show. And this was the first autocross I took, first and only autocross I took it to. And then had the fan override switch. I actually had them wire it up before I picked it up. Fan override switch grounded out. And luckily the fuse blew before the wires completely melted, but found it, cleaned it up and everything, got it rewired, took it to a couple more car shows, and then the air conditioning stopped working. The whole climate control. It had air conditioning, a bunch of, different accessories, but air conditioning, heat, and all that. And then I found another broken wire, got that fixed. And as you can see, soldered it up, got it working, and I was so relieved to have AC because it was so hot. But then it started overheating too. Boy, there was quite a few bugs. And I just gave up on the matter, took it to the shop. It turns out the water pump broke in half. As you can see, here's a piece. And what happened was when, it was a Florida car, so he didn't have it exactly 50-50 antifreeze, and when I took it home, it froze. But anyway, got that water pump replaced. Went to a bunch more car shows, and boy, did I have fun. And as you can see, it's definitely a chick magnet. And this is after I got the water pump fixed, and I took it for a couple long trips because I could actually trust it because it stopped overheating and everything, and had the AC working. Went down to River Road Cruise, down to Alton, Illinois. Boy, that was a really fun trip. Sure is a fun car to drive. Then did a little mini photo shoot with Ryan Ledesma. He took some pretty good pictures here, and got some nice rolling shots. The first time I've ever had any rolling shots, and I think they just turned out amazing. For some reason, these aren't quite in the 4K that they were taken in, but you get an idea of these photo shoot. It turned out pretty nice. Ryan does some good work. And then I added one of my favorite modifications was these headrests. I welded them up, and boy, did they turn out great. And for some reason, that picture isn't completely cropped correctly, but it was bolted to the roll cage. And you'll see it in different pictures. But then I ended up getting heated seats. My very favorite modification. Came with these sweet knobs. 6 different heat settings, and they light up when you turn on the ignition. There's the heating elements. Added some extra padding while I was at it. And boy, that was my favorite modification I've ever done to this car. It makes it a lot more drivable. But the other thing too is having problems with the speedometer. It had the regular, electronic speedometer, and it would all every now and then just go up to 160 and just stay there and not go back down until you turned it back off. So I ended up taking it, sending it back to Speed Hut, and they turned it into a GPS speedometer, and as you can see, it records the top speed and 0 to 60. And then I had Colton Nuco from Supreme Shine STL detail it, and boy, did it turn out great. I'm super happy. I gave him a hand, but boy, he does great work, and I definitely recommend him to anybody. Even cleaned under it while it was on the lift and everything. Turned out great. I did a little mini photo shoot with my friend's car. It's Type R here. And just did a bunch of driving. Here's some under hood shots. There's my top speed that I hit, 110. I've beat that since, but... And then my friend Doug Bear did this nice photo shoot. Boy, a lot of the pictures turned out great, but I noticed in the pictures the caliper was crooked. It became unbolted. Luckily, both of them didn't come undone. Bolted it back up, got everything working. Did another photo shoot with Doug, and boy, it turned out great. Got some really cool shots. And one thing I really like about this car is the stereo. It's got real nice stereo subs. Took it to my friend Eric's shop and changed the oil for the first time after a year of ownership and about 2,000 miles. Detailed it, cleaned up the headers. I think Factory 5 does a really good job with those headers. But the start button started going out, so I ended up replacing that. Ended up having to replace it again with another one. This dang Chinese button didn't work. And this was another one of my really favorite modifications. I added these leather door straps that I actually made out of a belt to match the limiting straps on the door. And I think they turned out really nice. It's one of my favorite modifications to the car, besides the heated seats. And then I took it to Diodynamics Car Show a year later. Had a blast. Saw some hot chicks. It was packed, man. Ended up winning a trophy, and I wasn't even in the car show. They just went up to me and they said, "Hey, can you stick around a little bit longer? We want to give you a trophy for your car." And I just couldn't believe it. I was super excited. Then I went to the Easter show, had a blast there. I love this GTO. Original owner, he flipped the body around so he goes down and drags it backwards. So here's my friend's Geo, 1200 horsepower Geo. That thing's a blast. I rode in that. Just took it to a bunch of different other car shows and everything, and then got it all cleaned up for import face-off. And wouldn't you know, it got rained out. But had my trailer there, so I just put the car in the trailer, and of course, as soon as I put it in the trailer, stopped raining. I even covered the interior with plastic, as you can see. But won a trophy. It was all worth it. Had a blast. Shout out to Import Face Off. They always do a great job, put on a good show. Oh, and I got my license plate, my custom historic license plate, D4 Tona, so it kind of looks like Daytona. Had Nicole Zeringer take some pretty cool pictures right there too, and a bunch of people took pictures from Import Face Off last year. I had a blast. And boy, I love that license plate, man. I think I knocked it out of the park. And I ended up just taking it on a bunch more drives and, you know, a bunch more car shows and everything. It's always a crowd favorite. So here's to another 2 years plus of ownership and enjoying it. And hopefully have a lot of fun.